Hello, my name is Kenok, and today I'm making a video about the new Legendary Armory for Guild Wars 2. Now, a lot of people might be confused as to what exactly it is or how exactly it works, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how exactly this works. Essentially, what it does is it takes every single legendary item that you've got, or at least up to a certain point, and it registers it into what's called the Legendary Armory. So this means that any legendary items, such as your weapons, your armor, all of your accessories, or in other words, all your trinkets and your backpacks, they all get put. This also includes legendary sigils and runes. They all get put into this armory that allows you to access all of your, well, basically your access your legendary weapons, armor, all your legendary gear across all characters on the account. So this way you don't have to switch, or you don't have to take off your legendary gear, put it into, let's say, one of your shared inventory slots, and then go switch to another character and then put that gear on them. As long as you have the legendary gear and it works for that class, they can use it. I'm going to use my old druid, or my very stripped down storage druid, to demonstrate exactly how this works. So right now she's got no armor on whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this stuff because it's stupid. Okay, so right here I've got registered Frostfang, the Dreamer, the Bifrost, the Shining Blade, and Ad Infinitum. I've also got the Moot, and I believe that's it. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've also got the Moot, but Rangers of any class cannot use Mace, so you're not going to see that here. It only shows you what you've got. Now, it also shows how many you have available and how many you have unlocked. So it shows 1 out of 1, which means there's 1 available and 1 unlocked. When it comes to two-handed weapons like axes, or rather, dual wield, you can have a maximum of 2 axes. Actually, is it? Yeah, a maximum of 2 axes. Maybe 4, I don't remember. Maximum of 2 short bows, 2 staves, probably 4 swords. Yeah, there we go. You can unlock 3 more of this item in your legendary armory. So you can have up to 4 axes, 2 short bows, 2 staves, 4 swords. You can only have 1 backpack, and stuff like that. Basically, however many slots you can fill is however many weapons you can store into the legendary armory. After that, you're not allowed to do that anymore. They just will not register. So I'm pretty sure that if you have multiple items, if you have multiple legendaries, like let's say maybe 6 or 7 axes or whatever, only 4 are going to get registered, and the rest, well, in it will contact you about it. So this way they can help you out with some kind of compensation. But let's go ahead and see how this works. So I've got 2 different templates. I'm going to go ahead and unequip all of this because I don't actually use this character. Plus, I'm going to show you something very, very interesting. So let's say I wanted to go short bow and staff on this build, but I wanted to go, let's see, sword, axe, and staff on this build. Okay. Oh, and of course, back items as well. So now I've got them all set up. They have no stats on them whatsoever. Let's go ahead and customize. Let's say we wanted to go just with apothecary. We're gonna go ahead and click this checkbox, so this way we can apply apothecary to both the short bow and the Bifrost. And right here we're gonna go customize apothecary accept. If we were to do that here on the select checkbox for the backpack, it would also apply to all the trinkets that you have here. If you did it on armor, it would apply to all the armor. And I think sigils and runes, you get the idea. But now if we go over here, no stats, no stats. It works the same way as it would before the Legendary Armory. Let's go ahead and customize. We'll do Berserkers. Do the same thing. Yes. Now it's all Berserker. Let's customize. Go to Berserker. Okay. So now what we have here is we have a template that has Berserker weapons in a backpack and Apothecary weapons in a backpack. Now here's the fun part, and I really like this. I'm really glad that ANET decided to do this. For this template, the first tab, we're going to go ahead and go to Wardrobe. We're going to go ahead and apply the Aetherized Shortbow. No charges. You can change the skins on legendary weapons as much as you want. The Bifrost, let's go ahead and change it to Casimir Staff. I'll just change the backpack to Divinity's Reach Rucksack. Okay. Then if I switch weapons, there we go. But it's still a legendary weapon. But now here's the really neat part. If we switch our equipment tab, would you look at that? The skins are default. Now if I switch back to the first build, we still have our skins. That's right. Now with the Legendary Armory, skins on legendary armor, weapons, and gear are now set to that template, to that gear template, not to the actual legendary itself, which is really, really nice. So now if I wanted to go back to Wardrobe, I can change the sword to, yeah, here we go, look like the Elemental. The axe, make it Reaver of the Mists. Oh, what is this? Let's go ahead and apply those. Interesting. Oh. So it's kind of acting up, and I'm not sure why. Oh, I see. Because I don't have Druid on this build. Let's go ahead and change to Druid. Let's go ahead and change that. It thinks it's an empty slot. Let's go ahead and change this one to the Tempest Staff. Apply. So now got the Tempest Staff, Elemental Sword, and was it Reaver of the Mist? Yeah. With the Griffin backpack. And if I change back to the original loadout, or the first one, I still have those skins applied. Now, here's something that, people are complaining about, but honestly, this was already something that you had to deal with before. At least when templates came out. Say you unequip it. And you re-equip the Dreamer. Obviously, its stats are gone, and it does lose the skin that was on it. So you'd have to recustomize, go to Apothecary. You have to go back to Wardrobe and apply the skin that you had on before. It can be a little annoying, except that at least, because it no longer requires transmutation charges, you can reskin it as many times as you want. It doesn't really matter. If I want to, I can change it to this, change it to this, change it to this. There we go. Look at that. Oh, I'm just changing it all over the place. It's fantastic. And it doesn't take a single charge. So it's honestly really great. But okay, so I've got these legendary weapons and this legendary backpack on this character, right? What about the other characters? Let's go ahead and switch to my main character, who I basically created pretty much all of these legendaries for. My Revenant. So here we go. Move away from people. Let's go ahead and go to her equipment tabs. Let's change to the first one. She's still wearing Ascended gear because I don't have Legendary Armory yet. But here we've got the Shining Blade, the Bifrost. I'm going to go ahead and that's better. And I've got the Ad Infinitum as the Shining Aura Cape. Let's go ahead and change to the next loadout. This is my... What is this? Oh, yeah. This is for World versus World. Shiro Roamer. Ad Infinitum. Normal skin. The Dreamer. The Bifrost normal skins, because I love the skin. Let's go to the next loadout. Ad Infinitum as the Shrine backpack, Guardian backpack. Still got the Dreamer as the Dreamer. The Moot. Frostfang. Next loadout. My Viper set. And finally, my my Electrogate set. Jormag's Breath on the Shining Blade. Regular Bifrost, regular Ad Infinitum. So as you can see, you can have the legendary weapons on all of your characters that can use them. And you can set skins to them per template. So you can still fashion wars and still get the functionality of all your legendary gear. And again, this works for pretty much everything from your armor, weapons, backpack, trinkets, and of course your sigils and runes. So all of your characters that are level 80 can take full advantage of all of this. If you have your legendary armor in all three weights, light, medium, and heavy, every single level 80 character alt that you have will be able to use the gear that they can use. In other words, if you have the full light set, then they can use the full light set with any weapon. Now, okay, now here's another thing. Like I said before, you have a certain amount of weapons that you can unlock and that you have available. If you want to use 4 swords, like let's say you have two different types of, or let's say you want to use dual weapon or dual swords for the Revenant, but with different sigils in each one, right? You know, that's just, or even just 3 swords to kind of go in between, right? You're gonna need 3 legendary swords. It doesn't matter if it's 3 of the Shining Blades, 3 bolts, or a mixture. You need to have more than one legendary of that type. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So that's the unfortunate part. You said you can't just make as many copies of it as you want. You need to register a new legendary weapon for that. So if you want two staves, you're going to have two staves. You're going to have either two Bifrosts or Nevermore and the Bifrost, or the Gen 3s that are going to be coming out for End of Dragons. Backpacks, you only need one. You can unlock the skins for the PvP and World vs. World backpacks, but you can't register them. Because if you've already got an ad infinitum, you can only get the skins for the other two backpacks, but you can't actually register them because, well, you've already got one, and a one is all you need. It's the same. It's pretty much the same thing for trinkets. So that's basically the way the Legendary Armory works. Now, there's supposed to be legendary lore as well behind each weapon, piece of armor, etc., but apparently that hasn't been finished. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, because it doesn't work right now, at least not from what I know. And there's no way to directly access the Legendary Armory. So, again, not that I saw anyway. Maybe ANET can chime in and tell us how that works. But either way, that's the Legendary Armory and how it works. It's actually really simple. It's a great quality of life addition. Some people have been complaining that it was not necessary, but honestly, if you have any kind of legendary gear and have been using it across alts, you know how much of a pain it is to have to switch between characters, especially if you're trying to do raids, fractals, or anything, and you need to be able to switch your gear to a different character very, very quickly, re-equip them, set all the stats and everything. It's a pain in the butt. But now you don't have to do that anymore. You can just set up every character with this legendary gear, and they'll be ready to go, and you can switch stats on the fly whenever you need to. So this way, if you go in a situation where you need to switch to, hell, let's say you need to switch to a dual sword short bow for the Revenant, and you've got all that stuff, but you're right now your dual sword staff, you can always put in the short bow, put in your legendary sigils if you've got that, and then basically just set the stats for that, and boom, you're ready to go. And then switch back later if you want to. It's really easy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful and insightful. I honestly can't say very much more about it because there really isn't that much to it. It's really simple, it's very intuitive, and if you need help, you can just ask questions on the forums. You can actually post your questions here. I'll try my best to answer them. But yeah, I hope that you really did enjoy this video, and I hope that it really did help you out with any questions that you might have had. And now that you can see how it works in action, maybe you'll be more inclined to work on your legendary weapons and gear. Anyway, this is Kenok, and I hope you have a really good night. Bye bye.